Have you ever wondered if there's more to us than meets the eye? I mean, what if our very bodies hold a secret message? Today, we're diving into a fascinating belief system that claims exactly that, a hidden, divine code written into our bones, our blood, and even the air we breathe. Let's explore what it's all about.
So it really boils down to this one big question. Could something as simple, as automatic as your own breath actually contain a divine secret? It's a pretty wild idea, right? The suggestion that there's a whole other layer to our existence just waiting to be discovered.
Okay, so how would you even begin to look for a code like that? Well, according to the sources we're looking at, the key is an ancient mystical system called gematria. The principle is actually pretty simple. Every single letter in the Hebrew alphabet has a corresponding number. Think of it like a secret decoder ring for language, one that's meant to reveal a deeper mathematical meaning behind the words.
And this brings us right to the core concept of this whole thing, the idea that we can calculate a specific divine number that acts as a kind of signature. Let's break down how they get to this number.
So in Hebrew, the name for God is spelled with 4 letters, Yud, He, Vav, and He. You'll often see it written as YAH-WEH. Using that gematria system we just talked about, each letter gets a value. Yud is 10, He is 5, Vav is 6, and the last He is another 5. So when you add all of those up,
you get 26. Now, in this way of thinking, 26 isn't just some random number. It's believed to be the numerical signature of the Creator, like a divine stamp that's been embedded into the very fabric of creation. And now for the really interesting part, where the followers of this idea claim we can actually find this signature.
All right, so we have this number, 26. But the whole point of this belief isn't about some neat math trick. It's the idea that this isn't just an abstract concept, it's a physical signature that shows up in the real world, specifically inside the human body.
And here's where they point for the evidence. First, the human spine. Once a person is fully grown and the lower bones fuse, the spine is said to have 26 vertebrae. Proponents also highlight the 26th verse of the book of Genesis, where it says, "Let us make mankind in our image." They even suggest a visual connection, where the head represents the shape of the Hebrew letter Yud, and the long spine looks like the letter Vav.
This all feeds into a really powerful metaphor that you see throughout these sources, the idea of the human body as a living temple. It's not just a biological machine, but a sacred structure, designed with incredible intention and purpose.
And that comparison gets even more specific. Just like Solomon's temple had 3 distinct sections, the outer court, the holy place, and the super sacred most holy place, the idea is that we humans have a similar 3-part structure. You've got the physical body, the emotional and mental soul, and at the very core, the spirit. It's a pretty striking parallel.
Okay, so we've looked at the big picture, the overall structure, but now let's zoom way in, down to the microscopic level. Because according to these sources, this is where the hidden codes get even more specific and, well, pretty mind-blowing.
Now check this out. The connection is said to be in our very blood. The molecule that carries oxygen and makes our blood red is called hemoglobin, and at the absolute center of every one of those molecules is an atom of iron. And if you look at the periodic table, what's the atomic number for iron? Yep, it's 26. For believers, that is absolutely not a coincidence. It's another clear example of that divine signature.
and the parallel is said to continue all the way down to our genetic code. You know how our DNA is written with a 4-letter chemical alphabet, right? A, T, C, and G. Well, the idea here is that this mirrors the 4 Hebrew letters in God's name, Y, H, W, and H. 4 letters for the code of life, 4 letters for the name of its supposed author.
And it keeps going. According to this view, other spiritually important numbers are hidden in our DNA too. For example, the genetic bases are read in groups of 3. A full twist in that famous double helix shape is interpreted to contain 7 base pairs. And then you have the 12 essential amino acids. In this system, numbers like 3, 7, and 12 are seen as more proof of a divine order.
So here's a quick look at some of the key numbers in this system. We've got YAH-WEH at 26, of course, but notice Adam, that's the Hebrew word for man, it adds up to 45. And Dam, or blood, is 44. But the real magic, they say, is in how these numbers interact with each other.
So get this, they point to this incredible bit of numerology. You take the value for man, Adam, which is 45, and you add the value for God, YHWH, which is 26. What do you get? 71. And in Gematria, 71 just so happens to be the value for the Hebrew phrase that translates to I am, one of the most important divine statements in Scripture. The equation is seen as a symbol of humanity and divinity coming together.
So, what does all this mean? What's the big takeaway from all these numbers and parallels? Well, the final piece of this puzzle really brings it all home and makes it deeply personal.
And this is where we circle right back to the very beginning, to our breath. This is maybe the most intimate connection proposed in the whole system. The idea is that the very sound of you breathing is actually whispering God's name. The inhale, it sounds like Yah, and the exhale sounds like Weh. Put them together, YAH-WEH. It's like every single breath we take is a constant subconscious prayer.
You know, this whole system of belief is really captured in this one powerful line from the Psalms. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. It's a perspective that sees the human body not as a random collection of cells, but as a masterpiece of intentional divine art.
So, after going through all these hidden numbers and sacred connections that are said to be woven right into our being, we're left with one final, pretty profound question to think about. If you are the code, if you are a divine signature written in flesh and blood, then what is the message you're here to deliver?